Hello, my needlework friends. Today is a special Flosstube on location where I'm going to do a walkthrough of the Needlework Emporium for all of you. The show is this Saturday, October 16th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. over at the Women's Club of Bethesda. Here we are, photos. We took our masks off really quickly right before the show opened. I think it was at 8:57 in the morning. We took a quick photo and then we got to work. I'm going to show you my booth first, my setup. Here it is. I was out in this sunroom. So I'm going to show you my booth first, and then I'm going to go quickly through the other booths that were at the show. I was so excited to meet all of the wonderful women and their partners that were there to help with the event. It was fantastic. There was so many wonderful things, and I'm going to point them out to you as we go. So please sit back, relax, see what goodies they have. I will say, full disclosure, I was unable to film their booths like right at opening. I was setting up all day Friday, and then Saturday I was by myself selling, so it wasn't until the show actually ended at 3 p.m. that I was able to walk through the booths. So their stuff might look a little sparse, so please just keep that in mind. It was because I wasn't able to film sooner in the day. So here we go. Oh, look, here's my Love Boat sampler. And the little turkey here is my new release, one of them, and Island Ponies that we had just passed by. I took some of the Bing Cherry Floss. I used that in Count the Pins. I have my You Matter and Your Stitching Matters fabric panels. I also brought my book, the Adric's book, Your Stitching Friends. Here, the Winter Cardinals. This is my new release and the thread packs that go with it. Here are my little flamingo skeletons that I hand painted. So here you can see Destination North Pole Earth. That was my ornament that I won in the ornament contest for Just Cross Stitch. And there's my new Cardinal Winter Sampler. It is stitched on Witchelt Olive. It's the Riviera Olive. Here is my Love, Kindness, and Empathy, and most of the projects that go in the Valentine book, Stitching Love and Kindness, as well as the fabric, the linen cotton fabric for the needle book and the project bag. So I brought those as well as some of my other goodies. Yes, so there I'm showing you my fabric. It was such a great show. This was my very first ever in-person show, and I'm just so thrilled to officially have that under my belt. So here are cards I made, and they had art photos and then some of my original photography. Some of the tomatoes that I've made. Needle minders I made for the show. There's the Boobies Apiary and my Petite Red Sampler series. And I'm so excited. It was just so nice. So I also put up my twinkle lights, which I'm really happy about because it started storming on Saturday and it got really dark in the sunroom, and my twinkle lights looked really nice. Okay, so here we go. We're moving over to another booth. This is the antique booth for Frizzleberg Antiques. Laura, she had some beautiful samplers I got to see in person in needlework. She has this really cool thing, and I talked to her about it. It's called a face screen. Now, I had seen in the past needlepoint screens, like full fireplace screens, but I'd never seen a needlepoint screen just that you could have on just to block your face from the fire, the heat of the fire. So that was so cool to see in real life. Some of these things I've never seen before. I've only ever seen pictures online, research photos and such. So to see these things in person was just a delight. I felt like I was in a museum, but I could purchase everything in that museum. This baby bed, oh my gosh, it's made with the wooden spools. I love it. And stay tuned, hint, hint, I do have a release coming up that might look familiar if you've seen this video. So it was so neat to see one of those in person. I really like seeing these antique little plush, and then there were the little undergarments for a doll. It was so precious. And now the bonnets, and then there is the face screen. I had never seen one of these in real life before, so it was neat to learn that, and it looked like a petite point. I mean, it was very, very small stitching. It was really neat. All right, now we're over at Deb Hartwell's booth, and she's got the most adorable little vegetable emeries. They were, oh my gosh, so amazing. And so she makes all of these handmade treasures, and then she had some antique sewing stuff as well, but she had a beautiful display of her handmade art. And she has the pin cushions. Look at these beautiful little chickens on velvet, and just just really beautiful works of art. All of her stuff is handmade, one of a kind, really beautiful treasures. So I loved these art pieces here with the buttons. And look at this cushion there with the pig. I just cannot even. It's so cute. So as you can see, she's got some empty places, which means she made some sales, which is awesome. She had some beautiful buttons, threads, just all the little goodies. I'm walking through and I just want everything. Everything. It is gorgeous. I loved seeing the buttons and the vintage thread holders. There's some more of those little chicks and chickens. I love the little bunny with the cabbage. Oh my gosh. I love her take on the make do pin cushion, but hers are again works of art. The little pumpkins. And I loved her display stands. I actually asked Deb for permission to recreate these stands with the wooden spools. They look like cake stands, but with the spools, because they're just so awesome. And she gave me her permission. So I am going to make them, one day. Hashtag make all the things. I want to make all the things. So walking over here, looking at another booth. Of course, I've got to find those birds. I believe this is Donna's booth. She is a Shenandoah Valley folk artist, and she has antiques and all the good little things. So it was really nice to see some of these beautiful wooden treasures and some of these beautiful little pin cushions. See all of these in real life. This box with the dark with the mirror was really cool to see in person. She had a nice collection of thimbles as well, and I wanted to buy all the thimbles. There was one guest that came to my booth who is not a needleworker, but she is a bookbinder, and she came to the show specifically to get the good quality vintage sewing needles for her bookbinding. So I thought that was just a treat. All right, we're walking over here, and this, I believe, is Kim's booth, her antique booth. She's also a ceramic artist and does some really amazing things. So it was really neat to see her collection, her charms and treasures. Oh, it's so cool. Just all the things. There's so much eye candy. I'm just going to be quiet for a minute and let you look. Me being quiet didn't last long. Look at this cute little hutch with the little tiny dishes. Oh, here's some fabric over at Linda's booth. Linda has an antique shop in Pennsylvania, and it's really cool. So she had all these beautiful fabrics, and then I'm going to walk by her booth in a little bit again, and you'll see some more of her goodies, but I think I had to run back to I had to do something, so I had to move. So let's see. Look at the beautiful lace and tier trade stuff and goodies over here, and the buttons. Oh, yeah, so there's the cabinet. This is around the corner for this is around the corner. I believe this is still Kim's antique booth here. So it was really cool to see all the different treasures and little cute things. And then I got to learn, I mean, firsthand seeing how everyone sets up for a show and subsequently, you know, tears down for the show. So it was really neat to see the process. Again, this was my first time ever coming. A bouquet of knitting needles. I mean, yes, please. And beautiful art on with the buttons. I loved this spool and how it's arched, and then it was holding all of those vintage threads. There's the DMCs, and so many people were walking around with the vintage boxes. I mean, it was just awesome. You know, purchases, people who came to my booth after purchasing from other people. So that was really cool to see. And back at the glass, I know it's hard to see. There's the beautiful trinket boxes holding the spools. Trying to get, oh, do you see those buttons in the background? Big jars of vintage buttons. You know, I was like all over that. I wanted those. Look at these awesome little pin holders. There was some eleganza thread there by Wonderful, which is a contemporary thread pack. But look at these goodies, these crocheted goodies. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm trying not to get glare, but of course there's glare. And the colorful goodies in here. Vintage buttons, 3 for $2. Oh, is that a sampler? Yes, and it looks like it's, yes it is, $18.99 sampler. I believe I am at one of Stacy Bear's booths, Mementos, but I might still be at Kim's booth here. I apologize for not knowing specifically. Like I said, I was filming here at the end of the show and trying to get it. Oh, look at that little bird. I love that there was a pair. Okay, we're walking over to Susan's booth, the Mekong River Textiles. She does a lot of work. She's a seamstress, and she works a lot with the local people in Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand for the fabrics, and then she sews them and makes beautiful pieces of clothing. So I actually saw a lady came out dressed in one of the shirts, and it was just so beautiful. So she had some beautiful fabrics, scarves, and fabric bundles, eco-friendly, sustainable goods from Laos. So it was a pleasure to meet Susan and see her beautiful work. And of course, I wanted, you know, all the hand-woven silk fabrics and all the things. She had 2-ply silks. She had patterns for you to make your own stuff. I really liked the earrings here on display. I'm trying to get real close up in there. All those pretty, pretty little stitches and tassels. Who doesn't love a good tassel? I mean, really. So that, again, beautiful booth, Mekong River Textiles. Now I've decided I'm walking back over to this booth to look closer at that piece with the mirror. Just gorgeous woodwork displays. I love the side cabinets from the old Singer sewing machines. Look at that thread caddy. So look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful with the acorn in carved. I loved that piece so much. I wanted it to come home with me, but you can't have everything, right? I don't know if you noticed, but I circled back over to Deb's booth, not only to look at her beautiful treasures that she was packing away, I had to look at that spool shelf again, and she told me how she made it. And there's a dowel that goes down through the center there, and then you put the spools over the dowel, you know, like, so it's really neat. All right, we are over at the vintage store, Luna Blue Vintage, and they are two wonderful people I shared in the sunroom with. They had some beautiful fabrics. They were putting everything away, so I tried as quickly as I could to not get in their way, but to try to show some of the fabrics and trims that they carry. They just got back from France and they did a huge buying trip. They didn't have anything from France with them, but they said, and they're another show that they're going to be doing, they're going to have that. So they had patterns and cute little, oh, as you can see, all the cute little things. They had yards and yards of fabric, you know, fabric from the 30s and the, you know, 1920s. And people were coming to their booth specifically for the vintage upholstery fabric and stuff that, you know, you can't just find anywhere. They also had a beautiful collection of hankies, cotton hankies, and of course all the doilies and everything that is, you know, my weakness. Real weakness. Okay, artistic artifacts. They were the third booth in the sunroom with me. They had the hand-dyed vintage doilies. They had packed up most of their stuff, but so I'm just trying to quickly show. They had some really cool yarn and threads and trims and buttons, all the things. Some vintage work basket magazines, bags of buttons and trims. So that was really neat to see. All right. It's a wrap. Thank you to everyone who came out to Needlework Emporium. Thank you for just making my day. This was my very, very first ever in-person show, and I appreciate you taking me for everything, goofball and all. So I'm so excited. As you can see, I have a car full of stuff that I need to unload, but it is raining. It just stopped just now, basically. But I'm not unpacking. I'm gonna wait until it's no longer raining. But I did learn that the initiation, they said that, you know, for your first show, no matter what, you're always gonna have to be packing up in the rain. So that prophecy did not disappoint. Yeah, it was great. I thank you if you weren't able to make it to the show, but you just watched the walkthrough video. Thank you so much for watching the walkthrough. Check out the other businesses, the vendors that I showed. They were all so lovely, so welcoming, and I am just so thrilled that I was able to be a part of the show. And so many people ask me, how did I become part of the show? Well, you know, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. I reached out, I asked, a spot opened up, and I was able to participate. So with that, I tell you much love, and remember, you matter and your stitching matters. Okay, take care.